Crypto God here, and today, talking to Joe of Digibyte. Welcome to the show that they don't want you to know about. How you doing, Joe?
Thanks for having me on, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's excellent to be here. You know, like I've had a crazy day, Joe. I had a crazy day. I was productive. I was doing recording. And can you believe it? YouTube shut me down today.
That's rough, man. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube. All I do is talk about crypto and finance, and they literally said, shut us down on YouTube, what they quoted to be illegal and dangerous activity.
Well, time to shake some cages up then, I guess. That sucks, man. It's just rough.
Kind of bullshit. People know the podcast. We don't talk about illegal and dangerous stuff. We talk about finance, right?
Yeah.
My thought is the big banks in China have a deal with YouTube, and they were feeling a bit of the pressure from the show. You know what I mean? They're like, this is dangerous information. This is information that's going to empower some people, maybe make them think from themselves. And they're like, oh, we can't have this. So
well, hopefully today we'll be able to carry on that bandwagon, give something empowering to the people.
Some dangerous information.
That could be your new tagline.
Dangerous information for your everyday life. Well, that's the thing, man. It's really kind of bullshit when you start getting silenced for just talking about, hyperinflation and devaluation and what governments use to manipulate us to keep us poor, right?
That was one of the things that specifically relating to Digibyte. We were looking at Venezuela and everything that was going on there with their hyperinflation. And it's rough, man. It's tough because you've got people that have got themselves a nice cell phone and they can interact with the internet, but at the same time, if they're getting paid on a weekly basis, any savings they had from the prior week is now not worth anything. And that's terrible, man. It sucks for those people, and my heart goes out to them, obviously. But you can only presume with how often hyperinflation is that people at this point, people kind of know, and governments kind of know what's coming when they start down that rabbit hole.
Right. And
they have to know.
You probably know about what El Salvador did, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. They're accepting cryptocurrency as legal tender over there now. And that was one of the things that we were talking about. If that started happening over more in the rest of the world, that could really change the world. It could change the world of finance and economics. And to move towards more of a stable, global economy. And to get shut down on a video that's specifically talking about that, Joe.
Well, it's even more than just the economy, because when you look at it, right, how many wars have been able to be funded by a country inflating their own currency? And so if you look at the likes of, let's say, for example, let's even just take Bitcoin, face value. How many wars can start off the back of Bitcoin, given you can't just print your own money with it? It completely changes everything.
Right.
You can't start a war if Bitcoin is your currency because you can't print it out of thin air.
Exactly. And that's what blows my mind, right? Here I am just reporting on crypto, talking to developers who are a little educated, and we're talking about world problems, right? And I'm getting silenced for talking about world problems.
That can be your other tagline, is we're solving the world's problems through finance. Here you go.
Right. Here we are trying to fix the world, and big banks and the war machine wants to shut us down. That's crazy, because I thought I wasn't that influential, but apparently YouTube's like, hey, that's too much.
I love
it. As a kind of investigative journalist type personality in person, this is exciting for me because it means I upset the status quo enough to get shut down. I don't care how hard the fight's going to be. I like to fight, Joe. I like to fight.
There's something exciting about that, right? That you just knowing that what you're onto must be something.
Yeah. I haven't tasted my own blood in a while. I'm excited to go again. And it's this thing that we're doing in the crypto space. It has to be revolutionary because you only get silenced when you are pushing for a change. And the people that are in power that want to keep people disempowered and weak, right? They want to maintain that status quo.
And I guess that's one of the interesting things is having looked at a number of projects and things. That's particularly why I'm excited about Digibyte myself, is because it is one of those empowering tools for the people. There's no centrally controlling entity. It is of the people, by the people, for the people. And there's something to be said about that in terms of the liberation that offers.
Right. This decentralization and the powers that be have always feared people coming together with one voice.
Yeah.
Like, they want to divide us on all sorts of different shit, right? They want to divide us on, they have all these different type of currencies. That's why we don't have a universal currency, right? They want us to keep us divided on economics, and then forget religion and politics and state law and all that. But
the easy ones, right?
Right. But the real divide, right, is there's no universal currency. That's the big divide. That's why there's such a disparaging, lack in equilibrium in the economy of the world.
Yeah.
And I really think, the main goal of cryptocurrency, really, when we think about it, right, if we want to be a bit more big picture, is to reestablish balance in the equilibrium of the global economy.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at things from a God's eye view, right? That's one of the things that this does, is it changes. It's being called the generational shift of not just power but also wealth, specifically from the old guard, or from the previous hedge fund managers, that kind of thing. We've seen it all playing out, obviously, with the likes of GameStop and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it is that shift of power, more specifically from the centralized, or even government in particular. There's going to become a point where they either need to get on board, or there is going to be almost a revolution of sorts.
Right. And it's not going to be, I really don't think it's going to be one of those violent revolutions, right? It's going to be people stop using banks. Because if you're like me, right, you only use your bank when you want to liquidate into hard cash and move it in a conventional manner.
Right. But in the future, if you don't even need to use your bank to do that, because the people have taken up the idea of using something, say, for example, Digibyte, a nice plug, then that's the kind of... Right, you no longer need to actually cash out with your bank, but even better than that is, because it is a permissionless blockchain, you don't need permission to actually start taking it up and using it, and that's the kind of thing, right? So if you are, especially, I'll go back to the idea of Venezuela, where people don't actually have banks, they don't have that opportunity. If you can start over there and use it to even buy and sell your groceries, that kind of thing, all of a sudden that big need, like you were talking about, to cash out effectively is gone, because you can just use cryptocurrency. You don't have that friction of an on and off ramp.
Well, that's what's going to happen in El Salvador. The banks are going to become extinct. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, if we make cryptocurrency legal tender, the biggest institution in the world with the most money, which is the banks, will go bankrupt. That's massive. That is that's Fight Club right there, right? That's the whole thing of just everything coming down to a sense, right? Starting back at zero, but putting the power of the money back in the hands of the people.
Exactly. Well, because they were recently talking, and they said that I watched an interview, a documentary about when the recent pandemic hit, and how they printed $2 trillion in the States, and they were saying this is the most money that's been printed since World War II. And that got me thinking, right? Could you imagine World War II happening if there wasn't any kind of a way for that to be financed? If you're a country and you can't print money to basically for your troops, for example, or for the bullets in their guns, kind of thing, how are you going to finance a war? You simply can't. You can't go to war. You've got to have a full solution at that.
Which war is a business, as we know. War is a business.
Yeah.
It's arguably the biggest business, alongside with the banks.
Yeah. Yep.
And the government doesn't want war to go away. Now, there is a need to protect ourselves, right? Within reason.
For sure.
Because, there are bad people out there, obviously. But if we didn't generate so much guns and ammo, in the past through funding wars and there being all the surplus and then it end up getting stolen or sold underneath the table.
Right. Like, hey, how did those get over there?
Yeah,
we weren't involved in that, clearly.
How did our American guns and missiles and bombs end up over in the hands of the bad guys? Well, we made it first.
Yeah.
You know, these other governments have made it first. And that's part of the problem, right? Like that's a whole other discussion by itself, Joe. That mean you could probably go really, really deep into. Like, I'm not on YouTube anymore, so we're going into all sorts of but
let's have those discussions then.
Yeah, let's go back. As soon as we get back to YouTube, let's talk about war profiteering. That will go so well for that like, it'll get shut down and reinstated so many different times because every single time the first episode posted, like, nope.
You could set a record for the most times they've kicked you off in like a day or something.
Oh my gosh. Like, they don't realize I could just, like, I have all my videos like backlogged. I could just start a new channel and re-upload today if I really wanted to.
Back online again.
Yeah, like, they really can't, like, stop the information from going out. So I don't know why they're fighting that. Like, why are you going to fight that? Because, you're just going to make me more famous.
What is it? That's the Streisand effect, right?
Well, there's rule number 19 of the internet. The more you hate something, the stronger it becomes, And I think really, if you're out here listening to this podcast right now, you need to start sharing it to people because YouTube's trying to suppress the truth. They're trying to suppress you guys from being educated.
And information wants to be free, man.
Information wants to be free, goddamn. And so this whole thing with Digibyte, right? Let's break it down. Let's get to the brass tacks. Let's see what it is. Tell me about Digibyte.
Right. So Digibyte was founded originally back in 2014 off the back of the idea that Bitcoin has some, I suppose, shortcomings in some of the ideas behind its use cases and things. And the idea being that you can use it for more than just being a currency. You can use it specifically for your, I say that incorrectly. The idea that you can use it for being more than just a reserve currency, that you can use cryptocurrency as part of your day-to-day purchases, as part of your day-to-day life, that you can do more than just sending and receiving value, that you can do things on top of it. Like, for example, we've seen the rise recently of NFTs, something that we actually ourselves took up quite heavily back in 2018, that you can do things like authentication and other security with. So Digibyte was basically founded in 2014, but unlike a lot of other projects that were founded in that kind of an era, especially back before IEOs and ICOs, this was founded with the idea of being forward-thinking with continuous improvements that carry on. And so we've got quite a proud history over the last 7 years now, and this is still one of the things that is continuing to grow and develop even today.
So you guys have been around for a while.
Yeah.
So how'd you end up here? This is supposed to be for like new projects. What are you doing talking to me?
We actually, so myself, I came across the project about a month after it had launched. So I found it in February of 2014, back when the fun was going down with Dogecoin. So there were a lot of mining pools back in the day and people would swap between them. And the Dogecoin blockchain actually froze for quite a significant period of time. There were no blocks being produced. And so Dogecoin ended up implementing Digibyte's DigiShield. And this DigiShield is still, to this day, what basically got Dogecoin unfrozen, helped it to weather the storm and become what it is today. So that's kind of cool.
Huh. That's interesting, man. Like, I'm looking at your websites and your wikis and stuff, and there's a lot here.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea that, you guys were an established project for 7 years, which is pretty cool, to be honest, because that's big, right?
Yeah, there's something that comes with being time tested, right?
Yeah. Like,
especially in this day and age, there's something nice knowing that it's been around for 7 years. There's something nice knowing that there is no entity that could do any kind of like a rug pull like we've seen. There's something nice knowing that it doesn't matter if crypto prices are up or down, that this is gonna just keep ticking over and continue to work.
Right. It's really encouraging to me too, right? Like,
yeah,
because we've had a couple really awesome guests up to this point. Yourself included in that list, of course.
Thanks, man.
We had the CEO of Leeway Hertz on at one point.
Nice.
In which, Akash, he's supposed to come back on, but he's a busy guy. But to have you here and whatnot, these companies that have been established for more than 5 years of blockchain developers and things of that nature, like it blows my mind that I started this podcast about 3 weeks ago, right? And I'm coming into contact with amazing people that are doing amazing things, and not just some of these shitsters that tried to use my platform to kind of, you know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like we don't gotta say it, but we know who you are. You have the interviews that
right now are going, oh yeah, we know.
We've already seen it. The interview's gone live and their website doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, we know who it is. But like it's crazy, right? In the world of crypto, you just have to be good at what you do. And it doesn't really, like, if you show consistency,
yeah,
then you are a mainstay of the space, no matter how fresh you are.
Right. And that was one of the things that someone actually said to me last week, was they said that since 2014, I think they started since March 2014, they basically said that there is a grand total of, I think, like 5 cryptocurrencies that have remained in the top 100 on CoinMarketCap the entire 7 years. And there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about that consistency, like you said.
Right. And it's like, that's why I have a lot of faith in this podcast, right? In the same way how you have a lot of faith in Digibyte, because you're seeing these strides being done and getting to talk to established people from the community. Because crypto as a whole is a community.
Yeah.
And all of you guys talk. I don't care what you say. All of you talk, because I'll approach developers for coins and they will know who I am before I even give them my pitch to come onto the show. And like, these communities know about me and they're like, you need to go onto the Crypto God podcast, bro. And it's crazy. It's this, like,
I think more so than just crypto. Like, there's a lot of tribalism, right? And sure, everybody wants to protect the thing that they've gone and invested in. It doesn't matter if you've put $1 or you've put $1 million. People obviously want to take care of themselves in that aspect. But I think a lot of people also struggle to see the bigger picture, right? Like the top-down view, that there's not just one pie that we're all divvying up here. There's enough to go around, because it's not just the one project. It's not just about that. It's about the bigger picture. It's about being part of something more than just your immediate, like, wanting to make a couple of bucks. And you can have Bitcoin, you can have Digibyte, and you can have these other projects as well. There's certainly room for it. And there's something exciting about that. Like we were talking, I think, before the podcast about this generational shift of wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
This has not happened before in, well, I suppose, like, in not just our lifetime, but potentially in any life.
Right. And you guys actually have had a good run lately. Your value's doing very good. I'm looking at the chart right now. It looks like a very promising project, even outside of the blockchain development and the tools that you bring to the table.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's one of the things that we can control, is the development and the tools that are being brought to the table. It's what happens with crypto prices. They do what they're going to do. But one of the things that we can do ourselves is look after that development, and get excited about things like the idea that you can mine Digibyte. So one of the upcoming releases that we're looking at, the next one, is the ability to mine it both with your computer's graphics card, your computer's CPU, but also we've been looking at ways that you could do that on your cell phone. So you could plug it in at night, charge up your phone, and receive a little bit that way as well, which is obviously slightly less important if you're in a first world country, like, for example, New Zealand or America. But if you are somebody internationally, and the thought of even like $1 is potentially quite a significant sum of money, that kind of thing has a lot of power, not just in terms of how it empowers the people, but in terms of how it distributes the overarching coin itself. There's a lot to be said for that. So yeah, those are some of the things that are coming that we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too, to be honest, because like the more, I got some really exciting guests coming on and I'm talking to some really cool people. You know, I talked to the coin that got my YouTube shut down, right? They were valued at like 18 cents.
Right.
Which they got videos everywhere, so why did mine get shut down, right? And then, like, you know, you guys right now are at 0.063, which is great, right? And for the people who care about liquidity, right? Now, if they were to look at the chart, how do they determine liquidity?
For Digibyte specifically, I'll be honest, man, the amount of times that I've spent day trading, very slim.
Right.
This is probably something you're better off educating them in. I specifically focus myself a lot more on the actual the development and the educational side of things.
Okay.
And I didn't until you mentioned it. I haven't actually seen the price in the last like week. So
your price is doing good. Your market cap right now is at 910 million.
Close to the billion mark.
Close to the billion market cap, which is beautiful. And your volume is at 63,391,719 at the moment.
Right. So we get a lot of that from both Bittrex and Binance. We've been on Bittrex for the last actually literally 7 years now, because we're in June. I think they added us in June 2014.
That's great. Yeah, I get excited when I see good market caps and I see a good supply and I see, the value moves. Of course, you'll see stuff in your chart like today, you had a bunch of people buy in, and then a little bit later it wasn't Sunday, like you guys hit a really great number, and then you had some people sell off. But those great numbers, man, your lows are starting to be consistently a little higher and stuff like that, which is great. That's what the people are looking for. I mean, not a financial advisor, right? But like,
insert disclaimer here.
Yeah, insert disclaimer here. But I like what I see with the chart, because when you see, like, at one point it was worth 16 cents.
Yeah, that was just recently as well.
That was Sunday.
The all-time high was broken.
Yeah, that was Sunday. And that's good news, because you guys had a dip, but you only went down to 6 cents. That's fantastic.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the things as well that not a lot of people are familiar with is back in 2017, Digibyte was briefly in the top 10 cryptocurrencies at the time.
Really?
Right around, because we were one of the early adopters of SegWit, and a few other things were kind of happening at that time as well. So it's pretty exciting. Like we were talking about before, that history, that stability of knowing that the project has been around for a while. So
well, that's why I think a lot of people trust Doge at the moment.
Yeah, because it's just been around.
Because it's been around. Because if they were going to rug pull, it would have happened.
You can't
already.
Because it's exactly.
And
there's something for that stability, like that peace of mind in people's heads, and that's like, I actually think that's cool. Not a fan of old spaceman Elon Musk, right? I feel like he's kind of just messing with people at this point.
Well, he's doing it for Doge. Let's be honest.
The funny thing is, right? He's like, oh, we need like 100x in efficiency right now. In terms of the way that this all behaves, right? Like we just need a bigger block size, we need faster blocks and things. If memory serves me right, Dogecoin doesn't have SegWit, so I mean Digibyte does. Immediately, that's a 4 times performance increase. We have 40 times faster blocks than Bitcoin as well. So immediately, right there, if you're doing the math, like it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, why? Like, let's not even bother with Dogecoin at this point. Hey, Elon, tell you what, bro, we saved you the hassle. It's all sorted, and even better than that is we're looking at Taproot and Schnorr signatures, better performance again.
You know what you do? You just send this interview, like clip it.
We'll send it to Elon and get him to tweet it out.
Send it to because he made kind of like which I'm going to talk to the people. He made a tweet that halfway alluded to rocket on the 5th. Like, it didn't say rocket. It was just like the emoji with a rocket emoji with an arrow pointing to the moon. And everyone was like, is this about
he knows what he's
rocket?
Doing, right? Like, he's got to know.
He's right. He's got to know. But I'm going to be talking with them on the 11th, and I got questions. First off, their coin's based on like... I reached out to my people and I want to talk to them because I think I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's
like
not going to be.
Cells,
it's not going to be educational on I very doubt it's going to be educational about
education. Is that what you try?
About devaluation and hyperinflation in the world economy. But I think we're going to talk about quite a bit, to be honest. Like. But that's the crazy thing about crypto, though, right? Like, it applies to so much shit. Like,
well, because you remember what happened back in the day with Vergecoin and the partnership, right?
I missed that. That's crazy.
Okay, so back in the day, Verge were hyping this up. They're like, we've got this big partnership. Donate some money to us. We've got a big partnership, and it was cool. Like, it turned out it was MindGeek. The interesting thing was that they had a metric truckload of money donated to them by their community to this slush fund so that they could pay for an integration with MindGeek. I'd actually personally turned that down with MindGeek literally the month prior because they'd approached us and they'd said, hey, look, we want a cryptocurrency. And I said, look, I'll be frank with you, there is no slush fund for Digibyte. We can't pay for that kind of integration. They wanted like 50 grand or something. They sent off a bunch of NDAs and things. And
right.
yeah, look, here we are today. But I mean, that's the thing is talking specifically about the idea of like fiat on-ramp and off-ramps. If you're being paid, like if you can pay for your photography, and if you are somebody who is making it and basically being paid, for example, with cryptocurrency overall, and you can then go and buy your groceries with it. You no longer need the bank.
It's a massive industry, bro. It's a massive industry. And if people could pay for their porn with crypto, like, I mean, like, wasn't that why credit cards existed in the first place? Was for porn?
It wouldn't surprise me. Like, everything comes back to it.
Everything comes back to porn, bro. Like, there's this old song called "The Internet is for porn," right? And like that was the big like reason for like digital transactions, because it was a part of age verification,
right? And because you've got to be a certain age to have a bank account and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And they wanted to figure out ways to sell on the internet, so they had to generate credit cards. And like, I don't know if that's the true root of it, but I know there was a movie about it that was based on the actual history of it. Like, it was a major push, right? If I'm wrong, somebody text me, okay? Because I have some people at home that listen, that they text me whenever I say something, whether it's like, that's one of the ways I found out about my channel, by the way, is people that watch the channel were texting me like, what happened to the channel? Where's my video today? I'm like, what do you mean? Because I'm busy, right? I don't just babysit my channel. I don't just sit on it and see if YouTube's going to take me down.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to start to.
Yeah, maybe you need to make it part of your morning ritual. Wake up, grab that coffee, and sit down and go, have they delisted my channel today?
Yeah, have they terminated me? Like, that's crazy, though, because, you know.
Well, actually, there you go. That's something else that you can do to get delisted is get cryptocurrency onto something like OnlyFans, because that's a huge market, right?
Oh, bro. Like, I think that's what it's working towards.
And you solve a problem with that as well, both for, like, you allow the people to pseudo-anonymously pay for whatever it is, but then even more so than that, if you can allow people to be, like, to receive that.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, like, that's the funny thing is as much as people, like, give it grief, like that particular industry, they're the kind of people that need cryptocurrency. They're the kind of people that need that permissionless finance.
You know, I'm cool with it. You know, if I've been single for 7 years, you know. So, but like, if there's a chick that I'm talking to and she's cool as fuck, she's like, oh, by the way, I made 20 grand this month off OnlyFans. I'm like, I love you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I will help you make content. I will narrate it. You'd be like, and then she took it in the butt. You know, like, you
right? Like, it's that's the thing is culture is changing, and that sort of thing is it's a valid career path for a number of people.
It is valid. I mean,
the hard part though is that they're not supported by the traditional banking system, and because the banking system is permissioned, you can have your bank turn around and say to you, you know what? No, we don't like that. And this is one of the things that a lot of the states have found, especially with their legalization of cannabis, is that there is a lot of places where it's great, like it's legal in that particular state and things, but they struggle because the banks won't give them an account, because at a overarching federal level, it's still not legitimized. And I think cryptocurrency fills that void.
Taking crypto to pay for weed, bro.
Right.
Weed and bitches, brother. You know, like, there's a lot of applications. The world's changing, and like I think, okay, so my religious inclination is going to come in for a second, right? The conservative like people, there's still that very heavy Christian connotation on things.
Sure.
And that's why a lot of these platforms aren't backed because of that. Well, it's not very wholesome. That, man. Like, I understand we need to protect the children, but it's not for the f***ing children. There's safeguards in place. Get over your f***ing self. If someone wants to beat their meat to somebody taking up their butt, it's none of your god business. It's not your butt. You're not watching it. Off.
Yeah, and you got to wonder about those parents that are just giving their kids a cell phone and being like, see you later. Like, there's your bedroom, go play and like keep yourself occupied.
Right. There's a reason why I don't let my daughter just watch whatever she wants, right? That's why I go through her devices and make stuff more safe. And like her mom let her put videos out on YouTube. She's 9, right? Like, I'm a YouTuber and I don't condone my kid putting out on YouTube. You know,
there's a reason that they have those specific things when you upload them saying like, are you under what I think it's like 16 to have an account? Like there's a reason they have those protections in place.
I think it should be 18 for YouTube personally.
Yeah.
Like, and then like the people that think that, because the internet's a mean place, right? Like if you got a person that is like, has a handicap and they're actually sensitive, like an autistic person, don't put them on YouTube because the internet's a horrible place.
Yeah, like that's why we literally have like 4chan and places that will like you can post a picture and say, hey, roast me, and people will roast you because
they're horrible. They're horrible, you know? But it's like when we
there's also good that comes with it. Like, don't get me wrong, the internet can be a nice place. Like, hey, look, we've got this lovely podcast here.
It's mostly horrible. But, you know, I have a server that we're on, and in the rules, we have amendments that are in bold as jokes. And it says, don't bully, harass, or be toxic. And then in bolds to emphasize the joke, it's like, unless it's funny, right? And then, like, underneath, like, nobody underneath the age of 18. And then it says, we eat the weak, right? And so, but this is a great conversation. And I would love to continue this conversation at a later time, but as I know you're a busy guy, I'm a busy guy, but it really feels like we're only halfway through even starting to talk. So open invitation for you to come back.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And this is the kind of thing, though, like these are important points, not just specifically talking about just finance, but about empowering people and about empowering people's life choices. It doesn't matter if you are on OnlyFans for your career, or if you're a streamer, or if you're wanting to make a dispensary. Like, these are the kind of things that cryptocurrency can empower.
Right. So this is what I'm also going to say. If you're out there and you want to start applying crypto to your field, contact us to come on so we can start raising awareness. Because we are the podcast that they don't want you to know about. We give you dangerous information to empower your life. With that being said, you can't like, comment, and subscribe because YouTube shut us down, but you can follow us on various different platforms. So if you're listening to this, share it out. Get the power out there. Get the information out there. And then after you get some good old Digibyte in your wallet, the last thing you have to do is hodl that shit.